Do you still believe your daily meals are healthy just because you don't eat a lot and they include meat, vegetables, and water? But please pause for a moment, because if your menu still includes fragrant pan-fried steaks, convenient sausages, or crispy bacon, then perhaps what's happening inside your body isn't as healthy as you think. Delicious, easy to eat, easy to cook. That's why we repeat them, unaware that just a small amount each day can increase the risk of stroke, high blood pressure, and muscle weakness over time. And worse, there are types of meat that, at just 50 grams per day, according to warnings from the World Health Organization, are enough to cause the risk of bowel cancer to skyrocket by nearly 20%. Meat isn't the villain. If we choose correctly, there are still types of meat, easy to find, easy to prepare, that can help older adults recover muscle, reduce chronic inflammation, and stabilize blood pressure naturally. So, the right question isn't, should we eat meat or not? But, what kind of meat should we eat to be both delicious and healthy? In today's video, I will explore with you the secret that many people over 60 are silently searching for. 3 types of meat to absolutely avoid, and 3 types of meat to eat regularly to maintain muscle, memory, and heart health. Type 1, if you've ever felt your legs a bit tired after a fatty meal. Type 0, if you always feel light after every main meal. And don't forget to click subscribe so that we can meet again every week with a new tip for living healthier and more actively every day. The culprit in 3rd place. Fried meat. Delicious but silently draining muscle strength. You're probably no stranger to this scene. A plate of golden fried chicken, crispy fried ribs, or pan-fried pork belly with a layer of browned fat. Fragrant and appetizing, but that cheerful sizzle on the stove can be the starting point for a silent chain reaction in the body, a reaction that doesn't cause pain, doesn't cause redness, but is enough to gradually weaken muscles and significantly reduce the ability to recover after walking or exercising. Why is fried meat harmful to older adults? First, let's talk about the cooking method. Fried meat is usually submerged in oil at high temperatures. That oil, if used multiple times, produces strong oxidizing agents. When combined with the crispy batter made from refined starch and the saturated fat in the meat, we are creating a mixture that scientists call metabolic burden. This not only makes the liver and heart work harder, but also directly interferes with the protein synthesis process of muscle tissue. Simply put, the body is trying to absorb protein from food to repair muscles, but when accompanied by bad fats and toxins from fried oil, this process is delayed or interrupted. According to research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, 2016, people who eat fried foods 4 or more times per week have significantly higher levels of systemic inflammation, a direct factor in reducing muscle strength, recovery ability, and increasing the risk of physical frailty in people over 60. And this inflammation, the dangerous thing is, it doesn't cause pain, doesn't give you a fever, but it erodes endurance, making your arms and legs weaker, gradually. The body of someone over 60 is like a machine that has been running for decades. It's no longer as flexible as before and reacts more slowly to mildly harmful factors. When eating fried meat, especially types that are battered and deep fried, the body has to mobilize a lot of digestive enzymes, bile, insulin, and energy to break them down. This creates a state called low-grade inflammation. Painless, no fever, but it inhibits the muscle tissue regeneration process. This is extremely important for older adults because after age 60, the rate of muscle mass loss, sarcopenia, occurs faster. And if the body doesn't have enough strength to recover, then in just a few months, muscle weakness will be clearly noticeable. It's not just muscles that are affected. Many people don't know that. Fast food and fried foods also reduce insulin sensitivity in muscle tissue. That is, even if you eat enough protein, your body cannot effectively use that protein source to build muscle. A study on older adults showed that those who ate fried foods regularly had a 20 to 30% lower insulin response in muscle tissue, significantly impairing the ability to absorb nutrients, even if the meal was still nutritious. Have you ever felt this way? After a satisfying meal of fried meat, your legs suddenly feel unusually tired, your eyelids droop, wanting to lie down. You don't want to walk, don't want to exercise. That's not old age. That's your body reacting to an unsuitable food. A piece of fried meat looks harmless, but if repeated every week, every month, It will gradually weaken muscle fibers, overload the cardiovascular system, and raise blood pressure without you even realizing it. And if fried meat is something easy to see, then the next type of meat is much more dangerous. It has no grease, isn't fried, but it makes the body pay a heavy price. Let's move on to the second type of meat, the hidden enemy in many people's meals. Harmful meat. Number 2, fatty red meat high in saturated fat. Thought it was nourishing, but it actually erodes the body. Mr. Charles, 67 years old, was once very proud that he never ate fried foods. He said he was very meticulous. No fast food, no sausages, no snacks. Every day he cooked his own meals, all high-quality cuts of beef and lamb, like ribeye, T-bone, or short ribs, lightly pan-fried with butter, served with a few vegetables, and he took a multivitamin. But then he went to the doctor for a regular checkup, with legs starting to tremble slightly when walking quickly, a noticeable decrease in short-term memory, and his blood pressure was steadily increasing. He asked, "I haven't eaten anything wrong. Why is my body getting so weak?" The problem isn't red meat, it's what kind of red meat. Not every part of beef, lamb, or pork is bad, but fatty cuts of red meat with dense marbling, especially types like ribeye, beef belly, or pan-fried fatty ribs, are the richest sources of saturated fat in the modern diet. According to the American Heart Association, AHA, saturated fat increases bad LDL cholesterol, causing plaque buildup in artery walls, reduces blood vessel elasticity, making blood pressure prone to sudden increases, reduces insulin sensitivity, making it difficult for muscle tissue to absorb protein, hindering muscle regeneration. In other words, you eat protein to nourish muscles, but because of the accompanying saturated fat, the muscles can't absorb it, and the protein is ignored. It's like sending a package home, but the recipient is locked out. What makes fatty red meat even more dangerous is when it's cooked at high temperatures. The very moment the fat starts to sizzle and char is also when a silent reaction occurs, creating dangerous chemical compounds that are invisible to the naked eye. 2 of them are of particular scientific concern: HC as heterocyclic amines and AGES advanced glycation end products. HCAs form when meat, especially fatty meat, is cooked at high temperatures. According to the National Cancer Institute, NCI, HCAs can damage DNA and muscle tissue structure, especially if they accumulate over the long term through a regular diet. Meanwhile, AGEs appear when proteins, fats, and sugars in food react with each other under high heat, a seemingly harmless reaction that leaves silent consequences. In older adults, high levels of AGEs in the blood have been strongly linked to low lean muscle mass and weak muscle strength. That is, it not only increases the risk of chronic diseases, but also directly contributes to weak legs, trembling hands, slow standing up, and loss of balance. And the telling thing is, you don't need to eat a lot to be affected. Just eating fatty meat cooked incorrectly, repeated long enough, and these compounds will accumulate, silently eroding the body's strength from within. A fragrant ribeye, seemingly rich and nourishing. But after a few months, you find yourself standing up slower, you get dizzy quickly when climbing stairs, you feel tired as if you just worked out. Even after just a few minutes of walking, the body doesn't age quickly. It is made to age by the same repeated foods that we thought were safe. If fried meat causes immediate muscle fatigue, then fatty red meat high in saturated fat weakens muscles gradually, silently, persistently, and difficult to recover. But the most harmful type of meat has not yet been revealed. It's not fried, not grilled. It looks clean, neat, and convenient. It's often readily available in the freezer, with familiar names like sausage, cold cuts, cured sausage, and just 50 grams per day is enough to increase the risk of bowel cancer by nearly 20%. We will continue with processed meat, the most dangerous hidden enemy to the muscles, blood pressure, and memory of older adults. No one thinks it's a problem because sausage doesn't look fried. Cold cuts look clean and neat. Cured sausage isn't much different from traditional food, but it is that overfamiliarity that is worrying. This makes many older adults forget that their bodies are different now. The liver no longer detoxifies as quickly as before. The stomach no longer breaks down food as well as when they were young, and what is convenient often comes with a trade-off. Inside those seemingly clean slices of sausage or cold cuts, it's not just meat. To maintain their bright red color, firmness, and appealing flavor for many days, they often undergo processing with concentrated salt, preservatives, and especially nitrite, a very common additive that can help meat look fresh, longer, but harbors a great danger to health. The elderly body doesn't see nitrite, but the stomach, blood vessels, and muscle tissue have to work with it every day. When nitrite meets the acidic environment in the stomach, it can form nitrosamines, a compound that the World Health Organization, WHO, has classified as probably carcinogenic to humans, especially colorectal cancer. And unfortunately, that accumulation doesn't cause immediate pain, doesn't make you nauseous or sleepless, but it can be what gradually weakens muscle fibers without us even knowing. I once had a 70-year-old man, slim and with little excess fat, but very underdeveloped muscles, share that he exercised regularly, walked every day, and took his medication fully. His problem lay in his diet. Every morning was a cold-cut sandwich, and in the evening, a few slices of bacon with eggs. He had no idea that those low-fat, easy-to-digest foods were disrupting his body's ability to synthesize muscle protein, because the preservatives caused silent inflammation in the tissue, silently blocking the muscle-building process. But the most dangerous thing is the invisibility of the symptoms. No bloating, no pain, no warning. It's just that one day he stood up slower. Then it was hard to climb stairs. Then a seemingly random slip in the bathroom. But it wasn't random at all. It was the result of hundreds of small, repeated meals with foods that were thought to be convenient, but forced the elderly body to endure. We might think, I only eat a little, it's probably okay. But one slice of sausage can contain 3, even 4 times the amount of salt that the elderly body should consume in one meal. It's not the fat that's harmful, but the amount of sodium and preservatives that have silently skewed the entire mechanism for controlling blood pressure, electrolyte balance, and muscle tissue recovery. Unfortunately, not everyone clearly sees the danger. Because processed meat doesn't leave obvious traces. It doesn't make you dizzy right after eating. It just makes you feel a little weaker each day. And by the time we realize it, sometimes it's too late to fully recover what has been lost. I'm not saying you have to completely give up those familiar foods, but perhaps it's time we looked at them with a more cautious eye, because the aging body can no longer tolerate convenient things as well as when we were young. And if daily meals are where we nourish our bodies, then it is also there that your strength can be regenerated or lost. Right now, we will explore 3 types of meat that are not only healthy, but also help restore muscle, stabilize blood pressure, and keep your legs steady, arranged in order of increasing effectiveness. Are you ready? The first type of meat we mention on this list is carefully selected lean red meat. Many older adults shake their heads when they hear red meat, because before that, red meat was associated with heart disease, high cholesterol, and even cancer. And then many people, in an effort to live healthily, silently crossed beef and pork off their menus, replacing them with vegetables, thin soups, and a few multivitamin supplements. But in reality, not all red meat is worrisome. And completely eliminating red meat can sometimes cause the elderly body to lose one of the most essential sources of nutrition for recovery after age 60. The truth is, after age 60, the body no longer absorbs iron and vitamin B12 from plants as well as when it was young. These 2 micronutrients, abundant in red meat, play a vital role in blood production, muscle nourishment, and nerve protection. When lacking them, we are prone to dizziness, blurred vision, mild headaches, and loss of balance, symptoms easily mistaken as normal for old age, but actually warnings of a deeply deficient body. Not only that, lean red meat also contains leucine, an amino acid that science calls the muscle synthesis switch. With leucine, the body can activate the ability to build new muscle fibers from ingested protein. Without it, even if you eat enough protein, muscles don't recover effectively. But not every part of red meat provides that benefit. Ribeye, pork belly, grilled ribs are all parts with a lot of saturated fat. What we need to look for are naturally lean parts, such as tenderloin, sirloin, shoulder, and rump, firm, without marbling, and tender enough to absorb. And more importantly, it's the cooking method. Lean red meat doesn't need to be fried, charcoal grilled, or heavily sauced. Just soft steaming, boiling until just cooked, or stewing with vegetables and a little pepper is enough to create a dish that is both nutritious and friendly to the digestive system. After 60, every piece of meat eaten is no longer just nutrition. It is a tool for you to retain autonomy, strength, and independence in daily activities. A piece of lean red meat, if chosen and cooked correctly, can be the difference between going grocery shopping alone or having to ask someone to help you get up from a chair. Of course, not everyone likes the rich flavor of beef or pork every week. Some are afraid of feeling heavy in the stomach, some have had high cholesterol and are wary. And that's why in the next part, I will introduce a lighter, more delicate type of meat, but still strong enough to maintain muscle and mental strength in old age. A familiar, easy to digest, easy to cook type of meat that almost every household has. That is, chicken breast and turkey breast, the gentle friends of the cardiovascular system and muscles after age 60. If lean red meat is a strong but sometimes difficult friend, then chicken breast, or skinless turkey breast, is like a gentle, mild friend, always there whenever the body needs something simple but sufficient. I once met an elderly woman named May, 68 years old, living with her son in the suburbs. She said that she didn't agree with beef, pork felt heavy in her stomach, and fish. She wasn't used to the smell. Her meals almost always included boiled chicken breast, mixed with salad, or eaten with soft porridge. She didn't think it was a special diet, just a simple habit. However, what surprised many people was that compared to many people her age, she had stable muscle mass, little visceral fat, and very good mobility and balance. The reason wasn't supplements. It was that very simple choice. Chicken breast and skinless turkey breast are the purest sources of protein we can find in the world of meat. In every 100 grams, there are about 25 to 30 grams of high biological value protein, almost no saturated fat, and especially, it's very easy to digest. For the elderly body, this is more precious than anything, because after age 60, digestive enzymes decrease and the stomach weakens. If we eat fatty meat or fried food, the body has to mobilize a lot of energy just to process the meal. But with lean poultry, everything becomes light. The body absorbs quickly, protein goes straight into the blood, and the muscle fibers, which are gradually worn down over time, have a chance to recover. The wonderful thing is, chicken doesn't tire the liver, doesn't make the heart beat faster suddenly, and doesn't cause blood lipid disorders like some strongly flavored meats. It is a safe choice for those with a history of blood pressure, cholesterol, or poor digestion. And above all, chicken is extremely versatile. Can be boiled, steamed, shredded, mixed, lightly grilled, made into soup, all suitable for older adults. Even if they eat little but still want enough nutrients, it's not greasy and doesn't require too much chewing. There's one thing I need to emphasize to you. You don't need to eat a lot of protein in one meal. The important thing is to divide it evenly. Just 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal. That is, a piece of chicken breast the size of your palm, divided evenly in the morning, noon, and evening, is enough for the body to continuously recover muscle throughout the day. People often compare chicken breast to healthy meat, but for older adults, I call it a loyal friend. Not noisy, not strongly flavored, but day after day, silently helping legs stay steady, arms still strong enough to lift things, garden, take grandchildren for walks. Things that seem small, but are the very foundation of independent living after age 60. However, if you've ever experienced nighttime leg cramps, tired thighs when walking, or legs that feel heavy as if weighed down by stones when you stand up, it's very likely that your muscles are not only lacking protein but also lacking the ability to use protein effectively. And at that point, we need a deeper solution, a type of food that not only provides protein but also helps activate muscle recovery, protect nerves, reduce inflammation, and keep the cardiovascular system healthy. Not medicine, not supplements, but a familiar dish. Ranked as a golden food for older adults by experts from Harvard, Mayo Clinic, and the American Heart Association. Right now, I will tell you about the top-ranked meat on today's list. Fatty fish, like salmon, mackerel, and sardines, the silent hero protecting the strength of old age. There's a man named Walter that I'll always remember. He was 73 years old, living alone after his wife passed away. Every week he went to the supermarket near his house, bought a few frozen salmon fillets, and sometimes added a can of unsalted sardines. He didn't follow any specific diet, nor did he read nutrition books. He just said, "I find that eating fish is light on my stomach and helps me sleep well. So I just keep doing it." At first he thought it was just a coincidence, but after several years of monitoring his health, he realized he was one of the few older adults who still maintained good muscle mass, stable memory, and consistent blood pressure, even though he didn't take supplements or exercise too heavily. Walter's story is living proof of the profound benefits that fatty fish brings. Not expensive, but effective in a persistent and quiet way. Fatty fish, like salmon, mackerel, and sardines, is the only type of meat that provides both high-quality protein and contains two nutrients that the bodies of older adults cannot produce on their own. These are EPA and DHA, two special forms of omega-3 that no other meat can match. EPA helps reduce silent inflammation in muscle tissue, the silent cause of slow recovery after each exercise, making legs easily tired and knees easily sore. DHA protects nerves, helping the brain clearly command the arms and legs, preventing you from feeling unsteady when standing up, getting nighttime cramps, or experiencing those fleeting moments of forgetfulness that many people think are normal for old age. Fatty fish also helps soften blood vessel walls, keeping blood pressure stable and increasing circulation to muscle tissue. And especially, omega-3s also make muscles more sensitive to protein. That means you eat the same amount of protein, but if you have EPA/DHA, your body will use that protein much more effectively. Many studies, including reports from Harvard Health and Mayo Clinic, have shown that people over 60 who eat fatty fish 2 to 3 times per week are able to maintain more stable muscle mass, reduce the risk of dementia, and recover faster after each walk, physical therapy session, or mild illness. I know some people aren't used to the smell of fish, are hesitant to cook it, or think salmon is expensive. But in fact, you don't need much. Just 80 to 100 grams of fatty fish per serving, about the size of your palm, is enough. It could be a can of unsalted sardines eaten with salad. It could be soft steamed mackerel eaten with brown rice and boiled vegetables, or a lightly pan-fried piece of salmon eaten with oatmeal. No need to fry, no need for heavy sauces, no need for complicated seasoning. The simpler, the more the nutrients are preserved. And most importantly, fatty fish is very easy to digest, doesn't cause bloating, doesn't make the liver work hard, and for older adults, that is a truly precious gift. You see, meat, thought to be a simple topic, turns out to be the starting point of vital choices. Not everything high in protein is good. Not every type of meat nourishes muscles. Some types slow the body down day by day, but there are also types, like chicken breast, lean red meat, or fatty fish, that quietly preserve the strength, independence, and active spirit of people over 60. The difference doesn't lie in grand meals, but in small changes, repeated regularly. A piece of steamed fish instead of a sausage. A bowl of boiled chicken porridge instead of fried meat, a tender piece of beef tenderloin instead of a charred grilled slice of fatty pork belly. All of that are the small bricks, rebuilding your house of health from the inside out. No one weakens from just one meal, but the body declines from the same meals, repeated over many years, when we don't pay attention, don't understand clearly, and don't adjust early. You don't need to change everything in one day. Just start with the smallest thing. Replace fried foods with tender braised fish. Choose steamed chicken breast instead of sausage. Boil a piece of lean tenderloin with vegetables instead of grilling charred ribeye. And if possible, divide your protein intake evenly over 3 meals instead of concentrating it in one large meal and then complaining of fatigue. The elderly body doesn't need too much, just proper care. Because even after turning 60 or 70, muscles can still recover. The mind can still be sharp. And the legs can still be steady if we start today. If this video helps you better understand familiar choices, if you realize that just choosing the right few types of meat can help maintain long-term health, then please share this video with your loved ones. It could be your spouse, the person you walk with every evening, or the child who is struggling to find suitable food for their parents. And if you want to receive more sharing like this, about muscles, memory, blood pressure, and simple yet effective eating habits for your golden years, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Next week, I will be back with a new story, a new perspective, and another small tip that can help you live healthier, more actively, and happier every day.